Yo, what's going on, guys? Back with another C4ort. Dumb name. I don't care. It's staying because I'm not smart enough to think of anything smarter. So it will stick. We are here with HD, Hollywood dude. Chances are you've seen him. Chances are you've seen him. Man like HDJammerz. What's good, fam?
Yo, what's going on, C4? I like the title C4ort. I like that.
Yeah.
It's nice and we'll just end it there, get on to the topic. But yeah, no, do you know, it's actually been, people won't know this, but it's actually been a hot minute since me and C4 have had a chat.
Yeah.
Like this ages, obviously because of worldwide circumstances, this, that, and the other. We got our own things to do. We're trying to level up in our own ways. So it's been a while since we've done this. So this is going to be pretty interesting. Thanks for having me on C4ort.
It's all good, man. Had to bring you on, man. Obviously, you know who's next. Man like Theory, but he's he's a hard man to get hold of.
Listen, the red carpets are being flung his way,
Yes.
even if he doesn't like it right now. So, hey, listen, Theory, if you're watching this, you're the guy now. It's not me anymore. You're the guy. You took the torch.
Bruv, he's got the number one headband. He actually has got the number one headband.
Remember, he said why that guy ruined the ST or some nonsense. He was like, listen, ST made him famous and he wanted to dead off the game. And I was like, that's it. That's the life you live.
You know what, true. You know what, true boys lift up each other's skirts, man. Sorry, Theory, but it had to be done. It had to be done. He's definitely number one in the group now. But yes, one day I will get Theory, I promise, guys. If I have to kidnap him or some shit.
The money in it. Listen,
Yeah.
appearance fees. Listen, this. After you hit a certain point, it's appearance fees now, innit? And Theory needs appearance fees.
I respect it. At least he doesn't look like Tyrant. So, okay, let's get into this. We are here talking about FGC information. Super vague title, I know. But basically, it's going to be content and commentary. Obviously, two things that Jammerz is, very much known for. We're going to do 4 points as per usual. The first point is going to be the evolution of content. Next point is what does commentary and content bring to the community? Next one is what things can people do to be good at commentary? And the last point is going to be what do you like the most about the two things? That's going to be aimed at Jammerz. So let's go into the first point, the evolution of content. Again, it's kind of vague. So Jammerz obviously can take this in any direction he wants, but it pertains to content and commentary. If you want to do like a little backstory, because people might not know where you started doing all of this from. So,
Okay, so some people should know. I probably should show more people in the future, so just to have a laugh. But I used to do solo commentary stuff on YouTube because I started out in 2011. So this was probably 2 years after the YouTube boom, because obviously YouTube came out in 2005. Then it obviously became a bit big in 2007, 2008, and then I started a little bit later. But I started out doing commentary over Call of Duty gameplay because I was a Call of Duty fanatic back when I was younger. Damn, it's been 10 years. Yeah, 10, 11. Jesus Christ, I'm feeling old. It's been a long time. But yeah, I used to be heavily into that. And I used to get high scoring gameplays in the 8 versus 8 matches mode. And then I used to actually show my friends the gameplay. Then someone basically pushed me and said, look, just start a YouTube channel, start commentating over it. So I did that for about 2-3 years. And then so I could talk over a game. And then I think it was late 2013, early 2014. So I was still in university at the time. I was getting into fighting games seriously, obviously through Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Shouts to the Street Fighter Cross Tekken fan base. Talked a little bit about that game, but then I think when I actually started trying to do commentary properly or take it a little more seriously or enjoying it, it was through Street Fighter 4, through Bracket Reset, back at Meltdown and Caledonia Road. Shouts to the Bracket Reset guys as well. And then probably just fast forwarding, it was from that point I worked with the team. I still work with them now. They used to be known as Unequal Media, but they've gone over to change their company to Visual Platform. And they've been helping me develop. I've been trying to develop myself, commentating through Street Fighter 4, then obviously throughout the lifespan of Street Fighter 5, commentate games like Skullgirls, a little bit of Dead or Alive, Blaz Blue, and yeah, now I'm just pretty much focusing on Street Fighter 5 commentary, but commentating fighting games is definitely a difficult one that not many people will understand what goes into it, especially if you're coming from a solo video game background like Call of Duty, just random gameplay videos anyway. So
yeah, no, I was about to say, what kind of skills did you have to get to go from solo Call of Duty to pairing up in a fighting game, if any? Or did you just kind of just roll the punches and pick it up as you went along?
I think because I'm a talkative dude anyway. Like, I'm very loquacious. But what you have to remember is the difference is fighting game commentary has always been, well, for what we know, it's always been done in pairs. And it's a case of, you have to remember the other guy sitting next to you, what's his knowledge like, what's her knowledge like, what's their flow like, you know, etc., etc. And it's a case of trying to find, you know, what people talk about a lot these days is chemistry. What's the mix between you guys? Will it work? Will it flow? And do you guys bounce off each other really well? Back then, I didn't really know because I was still in the mindset of, oh, there's a game. I can talk about it in some way, shape, or form. I'm cool with it. But then obviously over the years, people are like, okay, you need to improve on having a conversation about the game, you know, really talking to your co-commentator, delving into the science of the game, so on and so forth. So they teach you how to understand the game better, but also how to have a conversation about a designated topic better, and then find a little flow between you and said person or said people, which is interesting. It is difficult. It took like quite a long time to get used to that, and even now it can still be a bit of a difficult hurdle for a lot of people, not even just myself. And I've been doing this for a little while now, but definitely understanding that FGC commentary or fighting game commentary revolves around minimum 2 people. Rarely will you see solo commentators these days anyway. It's definitely something people need to know when they want to get involved in this stuff.
Cool. And to touch upon the content part, how do you think the evolution of when you was doing content, because you did even before Mika, I think most people would have seen your Mika stuff before Mika came out. You was doing your own thumbnail artwork. I remember in Skullgirls you did it with Eliza. Before that you did in Cross Tekken. How do you think it's changed from when you was doing content for those games to how it is now, if any changes?
So there's definitely been a huge development and a huge evolution in the ideas people come up with content, trying to think of the masses at large instead of keeping it niche to a particular community. They're trying to get more people involved and to understand and appreciate fighting games. Before, I used to do stuff that, you know, guys like Alium used to do, where it's like you find something and then you just upload it to the internet. And then what I noticed people were doing was they'd upload their piece of like technology or discoveries that they find, but they wouldn't explain what they did. They didn't explain the process. So I was like, you know what? I found this. Let me show you my steps on how to do it. It's kind of like a science experiment, or like leading up to doing like a huge exam for something in education. And it started out, like you said, with Cross Tekken. I'd find something, go, here's how it's done, here's how I think how it's done, and here's who it will work on, and the examples. It kind of developed to Skullgirls as well, with Eliza, a little bit of Cerebella, I think. I don't even know.
Yeah, Cerebella. Yeah, that's what you did before, because Eliza wasn't out at the start. Yeah.
But it mainly came through Eliza. And then obviously, I think the boom really came through. People knew about it when Street Fighter 5 came out. And obviously, that brought in a new influx of players into the FGC, not just in the Street Fighter community, but done that through Mika. And again, if you didn't see my videos before, or what I did before, you wouldn't understand. And usually, C4ort knows this already, but people listening, it's with content regarding fighting games and stuff. I like it when somebody becomes this huge encyclopedia or archive. Not so much the get rich quick scheme on YouTube to get their views and the money off the ads. It's right. If somebody wanted to jump into a fighting game now and they had no clue as to what they need to do, can they just type in on YouTube, like, beginner guide to Armika, beginner guide to Eliza and Skullgirls, and find exactly what they want, and then it will kind of disperse into other, like, small subcategories regarding that character. And it was a case of, even to this day, I see it now, right? if I type in on YouTube something I want to find, I can't easily find it. And outside of Google, YouTube is the most accessed website in the world. People just go on the website and they need to type something to find. If I can't find within 3 seconds what I want, it's non-existent. And I saw a lot of people do combo videos, reset tech, like stuff, all the mix-up stuff, and all the the stuff that will get you the views. No one really spoke about a character or delved into certain things like properly. And I was like, right, I'll just do it because I like to call it documenting my progress. I just happened to put it on the internet because I couldn't really store it anywhere else. It's stored in my head and it's stored on my PC, but when other people want to learn this character, who's putting it out there? And when I was looking, I was like, right, if I don't put these guides out there, no one's going to do this. In regards to our Mika guides, of course. But in recent years, because obviously with the pandemic that's happened and whatnot, people have substantially stepped up their game. They have stepped it up. There's more access to general topics that are discussed in the FGC, more character guides, more matchup footage of matchups and characters being played. Like, it's everywhere now, and it's only boiled down to because people have the time. People have gone from full-time players or even part-time players to go, yo, you know what? I'm at home. I've got a PC. I've got a mic. I've got a capture card. Let's do this. Let's impart my knowledge onto the world. Something I was doing years ago. People are starting to do a lot more now, and I embrace it. I respect it. So the evolution of the content in FGC, it was definitely needed, and it's great to see all of this content out there. Because I open up my YouTube, you got you doing content, you got our boy Theory Fighter doing content, you got Giuna, Sajam, everyone's, and it's just like, oh great, I can absorb all this fighting game content at my own volition. It's great.
Yeah, I think the biggest part is, I don't want to be that guy that's just bringing it down and everything, being like negative Nancy and that. But if it wasn't for COVID, would we have all of this?
You know what? I think not. Right. So if we had 100 people that made fresh content from the pandemic till now, if 2020 didn't happen, I'd say about 50 would be doing it, or 40 people.
Right. Yeah.
I think people would have taken a step back from what they were doing, playing and doing whatnot, but it wouldn't be as large as it was now. I wouldn't be as harsh as no one would do it. I'd probably still be doing my own content, like on my YouTube, because I actually haven't touched my YouTube in over a year. I haven't touched it in over a year.
Oh, I know.
Actually,
I know.
It's actually bonkers. But people would be doing this, just not as many as you'd expect. So it's definitely been a wake-up call for me, for C4, and for everyone out there who enjoys fighting, I suppose.
There's one other thing. I was going to say, do you feel the transition from, like you said, on your YouTube, you've not done anything for about a year, but do you think that could have been because now you're doing Twitch? That's the evolution, right? A lot more people are, I feel some, especially now, people want to engage more with people, right? The connection of like interacting. Like, I'm not built like that. I'm constructed uniquely. I don't care about interacting with people, but I know a lot of people do that. And that is something that Twitch gives in abundance, because it's all about interacting with the streamer, right? With YouTube, you've got comments and you just leave it and then you hope they get back to you, right? So do you think this is the evolution from your YouTube content going on to Twitch? Because you kind of did the same thing, right, with live streams?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? C4 brings up a great point. I'm not built, like how he just explained interaction and what happens with people on the internet. I'm old school. There's some things that happen to this day that my sister, shouts to my sister, he tells us, like, you need to get into this and you need to understand how this works, like, quickly, because this is what people are doing. And one of the things I could never understand was, and I done this because I done a fully fledged 5-episode web series for Capcom that was scripted, edited, and we put it on the official Street Fighter channel. Over time, scripted content and telegraph pieces they're not so much dying, they're just becoming stagnant or stale. Like, they'll still be accepted, but the community that wants to accept them is smaller than the ones that want the live stream, the live action. Remember, one of the biggest things people enjoy nowadays is reality TV. Going on a tangent a little bit, but it's reality TV, right? Twitch is the new TV now, right? You turn it on, your favorite guy's live streaming. You can see him pick his nose, cuss the other guy out. You can see him drink his favorite drink. He might be a VTuber, and it's like, yo, I get to see it in the moment. I get to laugh with him. I get to be angry with him, or like, stuff like that. And before, one of my biggest weaknesses was the content I put out. I think it was okay. I think it wasn't the greatest because I'm not like the most fanciest editor. I don't put sugar, spice, and everything nice on my videos. I'm like, here it is. Do you get it? Great. Next one. That's it. Right. But I never really shared it, and I never really showed people at large. But the community that formed, but no one really knew who I was. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know what I was into. They didn't know like if I played the other characters or whatever. It was stuff like that. So when you start streaming, turn it on, just there pressing buttons, and someone comes in and goes, "Yo, Jammerz, what's up?" I'm like, "Yo, hope you're good." And they go, "Yeah, how's your day been?" And again, it's a conversation. You can't have that for a YouTube video. I'm talking about, this is 5 frames. You dash up here. It's a 3-way mix-up, and then you might lose to Potemkin from a Potemkin buster, and through that, you don't even know how my day went. You don't know how my day went. So, but that's it. Yeah. So people, like I said, they want this interaction, and I think because of what's happened worldwide, you know, lockdown, you got to stay at home, you know, you got to stay, you can only go out for the essentials or, you know, a little jog, right? No real interaction anymore. So now people need to communicate with other people, other means. So Twitch is like, you know what? I'm lonely. That guy's streaming. Let me chill in his chat, have him in the background and have a laugh and then learn with him. So that interaction part with humans is super important. And like you said, I do lab streams. So for those of you who don't know, basically, I predominantly stream Street Fighter 5, and it's a case of I do matches. So I play matches. I watch replays of my own matches and other people, and then I do some lab work on my own character, and then we just test out certain situations because it helps me improve at commentary, talk about the game over time. And more people like that sort of thing. It's a very niche community, but a lot of people enjoy it. So you just rock with it, I suppose. People give me their Twitch primes and subscriptions, so I guess you rock with it. But this is still a new experience for me, because again, I'm not used to all this stuff, and I've been learning each and every time. But part of it's enjoyable, but some people are they're like flabbergasted at what I do, and I'm like, I do this anyway, and people forget I get paid to talk waffle about Street Fighter 5, and this they forget. Right? And this is the process that goes through it. So I'm streaming for like 3-4 hours, 2 days a week. So 8 hours total, right? And it comes to, it's like, yo, you do all this? Like, people are like, yo, Jammerz, give me your notes. Or you take this many notes. It's like, this is what I do. This is why I can anti and you can't. Like, that's it. That's it. I take the notes, but people don't do that. Yeah, how things have developed, even for me with the evolution of Twitch. Some people even told me as well, again, another tangent, they said it's the other way around. They said go back to YouTube in terms of like, you know, money and all that jazz and blowing up with the YouTube algorithm and nonsense. I was like, wait, so when I'm on that one platform, you lot are over here, and if I jump on that platform, you lot are over there. So it's definitely been a very interesting experience this past year and a bit. Yeah, year and a bit, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I think that pretty much covers all of the points I wanted to in the first part. Evolution content. I think, yeah, I can't think of any other sort of avenues where content could have evolved in something that you haven't touched upon. Like I said, the commentary, the content moving from YouTube to Twitch. It might be sort of a generation thing where the evolution was needed from going from YouTube to Twitch. Like you said, me and you can just throw data at us and that's cool. I don't need to know what you had for breakfast. I can just take the information. But some people, to be fair, when I was streaming lab things, it is sometimes good to bounce things off of other players, right? Yeah, but we used to do that offline. We used to do that offline, right? We used to do that at Hog or at Jish's Yard. We would like play matches or lab and then go, oh, this is what I'm thinking of. We used to do this in MVCI. We used to do it in Cross Tekken. We would all team mode together anyway. So I guess in that way, I'm kind of trolling a little bit when I'm saying like, oh, I'm just some unique bread that doesn't need no one. But yeah, it does help when you're labbing, when you can, you know, get some sort of feedback off of it. That is a thing.
Hold on. That might sound egotistical, but put it another way. I always say this on my stream, right? It's people like, how did you even think to do that? And I was like, because you guys don't think like me. And that sounds pretty arrogant, but I go, I don't think like you guys. That's the thing. Right, you don't think like me, and I don't think like you. And it's because I've had, or people would have more experience. The guy doing the labbing has had more experience with said character or said situation. Some things will naturally occur to you over what the other guy does. And then someone in the chat goes, oh, wait, that's an interesting idea. Can't you do this? Then we bounce off. We try these couple of things here and there. And then it becomes an even more interactive. It turns into a class. Like, people call me professor, scientist. Where's the lab coat? Are we in the lecture hall for the seminar yet? And I'll be like, dude, I'm just in my room.
Yeah.
Just some lab work. This is what I do anyway. But if you want to turn it into a Twitch seminar, then go for it. But I mean, if there's one thing I would probably say people need to work on a little bit more is I think I've had this conversation with Theory Fire before. Shouts to Theory Fire again. It's content it's content that fits an algorithm, and it's content that you want to do. Now, the content I put up, that's something that if I typed in on YouTube, you know, Mika combos or Mika particular situation come up, that's for me. That's something I'd look for and I'd find it. Other people are like, yo, why is Mika busted? That's an algorithm title. That's an algorithm title. And they give you generic points. That wasn't, did that solve the problem, the issue, what you wanted? They might go over one or two things, but it's not super intricate. But then again, what I was doing was extremely niche. It didn't attract people at large. So when you go, why said character is busted, not only do you get that the veterans and the hardcore guys in there, you also get the people who want to jump into the game. It's like, yo, I've heard about this character, but I've never played him in the previous iteration. So what's up with that? I think more people have fallen into this content creation trap of fitting the algorithm. And that's partially why I stopped. I couldn't keep up with that because I'm like, do I want views or do I want to put this out there because I know it's going to help someone? That's the thing. Otherwise, I'm going to change all my titles. I could have said, yo, the one button that'll win you the game with Mika, the one thing that'll win you the game with Poison. I'll do algorithm things. You can play that game, but are you in it for the long run? And I was like, I'm not. So I just changed over to Twitch for a little bit, and the rest is history, I suppose.
Yeah, no, that's a super good point. I remember vividly trolling you about, bruv, if you start uploading the Mika stuff with the Luffy killer, you get 10 times more. 10 times more views.
Luffy Killer Series Episode 1.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Luffy? What?
For people that don't know, Jammerz beat Luffy in the Mika mirror at, was it versus fighting 217? 16. Yeah. I was like, bruv, you need to have the accolade everywhere. On shirts, on your YouTube, on your profile picture on Tinder, everywhere. But you was like, nah, you don't need to do it.
It's like, I don't know. Again, like me and C4, we can have this conversation, do whatever all day, right? It's in the long term, as long as I don't want to be like big. If you want to get big in your respective community or whatever, you do that like organically or naturally. Obviously, people will help you and boost you up in a certain way. But from the get-go, my intention wasn't to go and adhere to an algorithm or particular rules to get noticed. It was, oh, here's the video. If you want it, I'll send it to you. And it's done in my own way, shape, or form. Because the thing is, if I had a bigger audience now, my channel would probably be way bigger. I remember when I put out the beginner guide to Mika, I had guys like Tasty Steve. I had guys from Sweden. I had people all over the globe just saying, watch this series. And then the amount of people that replied and said, Jammerz is underrated. He deserves more than what he does. And I was like, right. So here's the problem. Part of the evolution of content is the people sharing it for me. I share it once or do whatever. And to help grow and evolve us all, you need to be sharing each other's content. But you don't do that because, you don't see it the moment you open up your browser. You don't see it. You have to go digging. If you have to dig, you're not going to be bothered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of weird things revolving around this, and it's like at the end of the day, I make a video, do whatever, I hit upload, and I go back to bed. I don't do all the the necessary documentation or administration part and go, make sure it fits this algorithm, make sure you get the ad revenue there, do that paid 1 minute ad service or whatnot. Nah, because now we've forgotten why we're creating content in the first place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, luckily enough, that segues perfect into the next point we're going to go over, which is what does commentary and content bring to the community? So we are going to cover what does commentary and content bring to the community. I think this is kind of I think at face value you think, well, like commentary brings you information on the match, and so does content, but it's post hoc instead of like at the time, right? If you think about content in regards to something like match analysis, or you get more quirky videos where it's like, oh, the meta, how it used to be, how it is now. There's loads of different forms of content, I guess. So the information that it provides is always going to be different. But I think everyone's first thought is it is just going to be information, right? I don't think most people would think other aspects of content or commentary, but I don't think we've ever spoke about this, but I think we're going to have similar answers, especially when it comes to like commentary. I think when we talk about commentary, when I first got into it, I was like, I just want to teach people that don't know how to play. And then I realized that I don't know how to play, so how can I teach anyone else? So it became more of, okay, I'm going to give you my opinion, also what a quote unquote good player is trying to do. Because I know when I got into stuff, it was more like when I was playing Leo, I was like watching back the footage and the commentator would be like, oh, I tried to do this. Like, no, I didn't. I'm not an idiot, bro. I didn't try to do that. I know other Leos might have tried to, but not me. And I was like, I want to be on commentary to have less misinformation. Every commentator is going to get it wrong, especially when you're talking about the mindset of another player. You can't always be right about it. You can't. It's literally impossible. And I didn't know that until I started doing it. I was like, damn, I should probably stop guessing what people are thinking. I'd take it back to all the shit I said about the commentators commentating my match. I took it back. I had to hold that L. But then when I was already in the commentating, I was like, oh, it's cool here because I can maybe give a perspective that other people won't see. And I think that's more important than giving them raw data all the time. Like, this is minus. They can't do that. That person doesn't know the optimal combo. I don't think that is very helpful information, because that's information they can get from content. So I think humor and perspective, two things I feel content and commentary can be very good at portraying to newer players and veterans. But doesn't matter what I think. Jammerz is here. So Jammerz, what do you think, fam?
I was deeply moved by that. I was like, yeah, this is some real stuff here going on. But nah, just echoing what C4 just said. It's a case of, for me, what does commentary bring to the community, or just, you know, the audience at large, is the people watching the event that you're commentating, or the tournament you're commentating, whether it is an exhibition, online tournament, offline tournament, major event, whatever it is, right? What you are bringing is your perspective of the game. You're allowing them to see through your lens what the game is like. Because obviously what a commentator does, is, especially in fighting games, is we need to show the people what's going on beneath the surface. What you can see, all right, someone's losing. Why are they losing? What were the potential scenarios or the potential outcomes? That's what you do. And again, like you said, you can find information regarding the characters, frame data, you know, certain things here and there regarding content on the internet. But there's certain things, especially a flow, that you can't find unless someone, you know, puts it into perspective for you to allow you to go, oh, do you know what? I didn't consider that. Now that he's mentioned that, or now that she's mentioned that in commentary, it's like, now I'm going to keep an eye out for that. So when I'm commentating now, I'll be like, yo, keep an eye out for that situation, because it's going to crop up numerous times in this set, and then the outcome might be different. It's like, oh, I didn't see that before. Now I can't unsee it. Like, you know what I mean? I can't unsee it. So it brings that. You mentioned something about energy as well. You do need it will bring a certain level of charisma. Like, again, we have a lot of charismatic guys, energetic guys in the scene. You do need those to kind of hype up the event. Look, it's the whole, you know, polishing a turd, turning shit into gold, right? It's like sometimes you'll see these very weird, mundane matches, and then, you know, your favorite commentator, the hypest guy, will just turn it. It's like, I don't know what it is, but he can commentate two crabs fighting, and I'd still be invested.
Yeah.
I'd still be invested in it. That's it. So there's tons of different things that commentary brings from different angles. Obviously, I've taken a very analytical, methodical approach to certain things, like C4 was mentioning before. It's a lot of people, a lot of stuff I couldn't see this before, because again, fighting game commentary is pretty difficult because things change at a drop of a hat, and then your quote-unquote relevant information no longer is relevant 2 seconds later, and you can't finish your point within that time. We're not speedrunners when it comes to talking. You know what I mean? So it's very difficult. So what you want to bring, I think it is definitely based on perception, because every commentator will bring something different. They fall under like 2 or 3 categories in general. You know, analytics, you know, passion and energy. But within those, there'll be something that they bring. That's like, okay, only, you know, C4 when it's on commentary will bring this. I'll learn something different I didn't know before. It's like, okay, you know, Tasty C4 Yipes. It's like, okay, cool. Any match these guys commentate, it's going to be hyper than it probably was. It's probably the most boring mirror match you've ever seen, but these guys are going to make it like the UFC. Like,
yeah,
they make it the UFC, right? So, and bringing this to community, it elevates everyone up in terms of, you know, better knowledge, you know, better friendships, you know, just like people look forward to more of these events now and appreciate high level play or the players a little bit more. So it kind of works hand in hand. The whole help me help you, you know, it's like I'm helping you learn and understand. And by watching this, you guys bring more people into the community to appreciate why you like fighting games. And then it helps me get bigger, and then we can do the whole, you know, cycle again and all that stuff. So it has brought a lot of new things. And again, there'll be more commentators to come in the future, and they'll be bringing different styles, different things to the table that yourself never thought of. And then we can only get bigger and better, or I hope we can get bigger and better from there. So yeah,
no, I think something I should have said when I was doing my little ramble is that's what I wanted to do, and you touch upon it as well when it comes to, you kind of want to, you don't want to be the exact same as your co-partner. I think me and you are a good example of that, because we both turn into goons when we're both commentating at the same time. We just turn into goons. Like, we're not productive in any way, shape or form. We're just so bad. We actually just can't do it. I'll see if I can dig up the footage of us doing BB tag. Shout out to Kiba, man, because he took abuse on the mic and he doesn't even know.
Listen. Oh man, he'll probably find out after he listens to this. But I mean, it's like your objective for commentary is different from everybody else's, right? It's whatever you want to see in commentary, that's what you're going to bring to the table. And that's what you want to bring. It's not like an audition or like a CV. It's like, yo, this aspect of the FGC is missing, and I think I can inject that into the community, and then people will take that blueprint and develop it. Bam. And then, you know, we continue to grow and develop from there. But yeah, I mean, to each their own, I suppose. So
yeah, it's always going to be a mixed bag, right? No commentator is going to tick everyone's box when it comes to that's a good commentator. Some commentators you find hype, someone else is going to find annoying. It's always just going to be the way. But let's talk about content. What do you think content? Because I know on the last point you were speaking about how content has become sort of like harder to find. I remember that, like, one of the first things you were saying about what you did when it comes to content, I see now on Twitter where people don't even put button inputs. They don't put notations on. And I'm like, okay, why did you even upload this? Are you just trying to farm views, or are you trying to get followers? Like, it's cool that you've done this, but you're not giving anyone information because we don't even know the input. Even though I can look at it and go, I can work it out, but someone else might not. If it's a character they don't use, or it's a game they've never played, and then you've got the whole notation like conundrum with anime games, Street Fighter with quarter circles, and then you've got NRS games. Just have it takes literally 2 seconds for you to go into T mode and go input
display. Just turn it on.
Input display. It's so easy. So with that being said, what do you think? I guess, what do you think content is doing, and what would you like content to bring to the community?
Okay, so it's kind of like a chain, right? So before an exhibition, before a boxing match or whatever, the guys prepare, right? So think of the tech or the videos you see as the preparation. So it's like, okay, cool. Said character can do X, Y, and Z. Here's the scenarios. Here's the mix-up, whatever. When you see that, through that person who uploaded that, I say, okay, cool. He's actually going to do this in this matchup, or it's a possibility. So now that I've seen him do it, anytime I see him encounter this character or these particular matchups, I know that's a potential. So now that's prior knowledge to the match. So you won't be as you'll be surprised, but in a different way. It's, yo, I won't be surprised as in, oh, I've never seen that before. It's like, oh my God, he landed it and he set that up accordingly. It's like, and I remember when he uploaded that and explained the process of how to do it. And it's like, okay, cool. So the content's bringing that prior knowledge. Also, what it does as well, if it's a general discussion, it's like, you know, why this archetype is good, why this archetype is bad, or why said person is not so as good as they think they are, or so on and so forth. It builds a story, it builds a narrative. So when you see these guys jump on, you know, the events, they jump on stream, they jump on stage, and it's like, okay, cool, I know a little bit more about this dude because this guy had a podcast with him, or someone's had an interview with him earlier, so on and so forth. So you just get all necessary information to kind of help paint a bigger picture regarding what you're going to be seeing in a tournament or an exhibition, I suppose. What would I like to see people do? Obviously, answering your second question. What I like to see people do, maybe it's just a me thing. I don't particularly know. It's like, so for those of you who don't know, you can probably find a video on my channel that does this. I'll upload a piece of tech, and what I'll do is I show the tech twice through. So I let it play real time twice through. And then the third time, I break it down into 3 or 4 parts. So I'll cut it into 4 parts and then go, here's how the first process goes. Then here's how the second process goes. Here's how the third part goes, and so on and so forth. And then after you've seen that process, I'll play it one more time. Because some people don't get things once or twice. They don't get it. So I let you see it twice, because the first time you'll be like, I don't know what he just did. Let me see that again. And instead of rewinding it, I've played it a second time back for you. Then once you've registered that it was, I don't know what he did, but it seems interesting. Now I've broken down the process so your mind can actually understand what the hell it is I just did. Then once you understand the process and it's split up, I put the pieces back together so you see it one more time. Hence why you see it 4 times. It's like, he's just put this on repeat 4 times. It's like, no, because now you understand what I just did. Now you fully understand it, right? And it goes, okay, that's great. Where are you going to use it? Then I'll give you a multitude of examples to see that as well. So it's a necessary process. I'd like to see more people properly break down what they do. But one gripe I've always had is tons of community members are very poor at explaining what they do. And in their defense, for years, they've never had to explain it. Because when me and you are talking about fighting games, we understand the terminology. So I can go, yo, C4, Robo's jump medium punch is 7 frames. When it crosses up, it's -2. Like, who understood that outside of you? That's it, right? So then what they need to do is they need to find a way to explain it so you can still understand, but people coming into Robo Fortune can understand as well. It's one of those things where people need to get better, and it takes months, it takes years of their explanation process needs to develop, because then we'd all become articulate, and then you'll be just naturally explaining things off the bat in several different ways. And because right now people, again, Twitter tech's the perfect example. You upload 30 seconds, the guy just to scroll down his timeline and he's seen it. And it's like, well, that's useless. You just uploaded 30 seconds of nonsense. I don't really know what you did. And then you then have to explain your process in 140 characters. You probably aren't good at English, and the thing's just going to get lost. So I was like, right, this is why I go back to what I did on YouTube. YouTube is probably the best archiving website for this stuff anyway. Pop the video there, and it's like, what's this? There's the link. Go watch it. The process in there. You don't like reading the description, don't need to read it, but it's there. So I get it. People are doing things to contemporary times and what's useful and convenient for them, but Jesus Christ. I look at some people do this stuff, and it's like, damn, you people. It's like, you need help. You need help. That's just me. That's just me. Because again, look, once upon a time, you look at this stuff on the internet and you have no clue what the bread did. People are hiding their inputs, like you said. People said, oh, you figure it out because it took me long to figure out. So you figure it out. And it's like, come on, we can all learn better and quicker if you just explain the process. Unless you want to hide it for a tournament or something, I can get that. But because I don't compete, I've got nothing to hide. And what good is knowledge if you're not going to share it, right?
Buzz.
I say this every time when I'm doing this stuff. It's like, I don't mind showing people. Of course, look, a magician can't reveal all his tricks. He can't, right? But the vast majority of things I do, someone goes, can you show me how to do it? Yeah, cool. I'll break it down for you. That's fine. Because while you're learning this, I'm already 10 steps ahead of you. I'm doing something else, right? I'm already doing something else.
Just handing that scraps then, basically. Shrapnel. Take my shrapnel. Looking like Johnny.
It's like,
Just Bitcoin
people who create content, they're probably already 10, 20 steps ahead of what you actually want to figure out.
Yeah.
But it's like they've already learned that part and gone through that process. And when you're teaching someone something or learning something, when you're teaching someone new tech or explaining something, you're essentially learning twice. You're teaching them, but you're relearning it yourself, and you're learning it in a different fashion. And it's like, oh, okay, this wasn't what it was like for me back then. Now I have to explain it to someone. I have to find a way to articulate that better, and then the next person you ask that, I can obviously be more concise about it and probably be sharper with the execution in terms of showing them what it is. And I think right now what's happening with the content creation in the FGC is people are still going through that process, because again, people are spitballing these questions and some of them you've never heard before, and it's like, I don't understand what you just said. I might need Google Translate that for your question. So, sometimes, hey, this stuff is hard because getting people into these games is not hard. It's getting them to stick around and giving them reasons to stick around, whether it be through tech, meta, characters, is difficult. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. Fighting game stuff is like art. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You just have to find the way that works for you. And if somehow your community like the way you do it, stick with it. That's your niche. But yeah, that's enough of me rambling.
No, I mean, no, you hit like a lot of good points. I think the Twitch thing, I want to say, is sort of like an era. I never thought about it from the stance of time. The time is like very precious to certain people.
It is.
So the convenient point is an aspect I never thought. I would rebuttal it with, then you ain't got time to upload it then, because the only reason you upload it then is to get views. That's what I would say. Like, if you've got enough time to record it, you've got enough time to put input. But
no, trust me. No, I know exactly. I know where you're coming from. I know it's you got time to do this, you got time to do that. I don't know.
I'm trying to be super charitable, because I'm like, okay, when I've done it, you can forget. Sometimes people can forget just to put it on. I get that. When I've done it, I delete it and upload it again. Because to me, that is literally just taking up bandwidth on the internet. Like, just why have that there? I remember
it's like when you want to go look for something. It's like, I want to learn this, and the input display isn't on this. Like, that's not what I would do. So therefore, it's irrelevant to me. And then what that also does is it saves, and I know you love this as well, it saves answering pointless questions. And it's that's it. You save yourself time instead of rinse and repeat. That's what you want. And then obviously C4 is going to make a very good point. So
no, that's literally it. I love answering questions with links. I'm that kind of dickhead. I love it, bro. Like, I used to do it all the time with Leo. People, but how do you beat Rekka? Link. That's it. I don't have to re-explain things over. It's for my sanity, to be fair. It is literally for my sanity, because it's you must have it, especially when anyone who mains a character at an intermediate level, at least, you're gonna have someone who's maybe not as good as you, or like a lower level, or someone who doesn't even know the matchup, right? They're gonna ask you a very specific question that you've been asked before, and you just want to go ask the guy I just told. Just have a hyperlink, my dude, bruv. Just have it's so good. I've got a playlist. I hear, oh, I want to know how to do XXX Leo, and I just give them the playlist. I don't even know what they've asked me. I'm like, it's probably there. If it's not, you don't need to know it. Trust me. Like, it's literally the best thing. And with all that, with other things I've done as well, I'm very like specific with words. I'm super pedantic, super pedantic. So
respect her. Respect it.
I wish I could. I would not be my friend. If I knew someone like me, I wouldn't be my friend. It would get on my nerves. But so if you see like my cross-tech and stuff, I used to have combo exhibitions. I never used guides, because it's like, I don't know if this is good. I don't know. And even though I'm super arrogant, I'm not ignorant to my arrogance. So I won't say this is the best thing or this is what you should do. So I always had combo exhibitions, bro.
You might need to get out a t-shirt. I'm not ignorant to my arrogance.
That does make a sick top. I might have to get that.
You know, I might have given other people out of the game, but they take. I should have told you that off. I should have told it off street, bro. Get out a t-spray real quick. You get bare piece.
Probably it's hard times. I might need to still. But yeah, I think it's, to me, like, information, you can you have some people that are very articulate like yourself, and I don't have that. I don't have the patience to break things down like you did what you said with your videos. Like, if I show you once with inputs and you don't get it, to me, you're beyond help. Then you need to go talk to Jammerz, because I can't help you at that level. Like, because it's not because you're like a stupid person. I just don't have the ability to break it down like that.
Let me say, okay, here's the thing, because people with that content stuff, people would go, yeah, Jammerz, you'd be a great teacher and stuff. I said, no, to teach, you need patience. If you do not have the patience, this is not going to work.
I don't have that.
Like, I get it. It's like, well, I've done it once. I've explained to you at large, rewind the video, do whatever, right? But I don't have the patience or the time to break it down 5 billion times in 8 different ways and then put it back together like a jigsaw puzzle. It's like, I don't have the time. And I get that, because it's like, look, with that patience and teaching other people, you're cutting into your own time. And it's like, I've got other things to do. I want to like get better myself. It might be something selfish, but it's completely validated, because again, I have a way of doing things that I'm comfortable with. I have a way of leveling up, doing so on and so forth. And it's like, me teaching you, as much as it does help, some people think, I don't know if C4 thinks this or whatever, it's like some people might be slowed down because they might not be at that point where they want to teach someone like properly. They'll just upload what they did, and there it is. If you don't understand it, talk to the other guy who might understand it. I can't explain it to you, but I get that. It took me a while to get out of that bubble, that shell as well. But I think it's good. Like, people can, you know, like you've spoken about niches and stuff. Some people explain in a very specific way. Like, your videos don't help me. I just ask you. But if I saw the situation 4 times, my mind would just melt. Like, it would just decay. Like, because I'm like, I don't need to see it in slow motion. But I know some people learn like that, and that's totally fine. But my videos ain't like that. My videos are, this is what happened. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna see what happened. Then I'll tell you how to stop it. If you need to rewind it, sick, because now I get 2 views out of your 1 person. Like, that's how I am. But the way you do it, I think, is very accessible to beginners, because I think I've spoken about this in terms of playing, right? It's very hard to, I don't want to use this word, but I'm just going to dumb down your thought process. So I can't think how a beginner would think. You know when you get competitive at a game, right? The fun factor stops, because you can't can't be a casual at it. You can't play Skullgirls and be casual games. Like, you're going to try to win, right? Because you've put in the time to get good. Yeah, that's how I am. Here's that goes. Here's that goes, right? The moment you learn frame data or you ask about the matchup, the game no longer fun.
No longer fun, bro.
No longer fun. I remember, shouts to Theory Fight, I'm gonna keep mentioning his name. The moment this bear told me about how to tackle Chun-Li and Zangief in Cross Tekken, no more fun.
You weren't a content creator no more, bro. that ship sailed. As soon as you went, how do I beat this? And you got sweaty, no more fun was had in Cross Tekken, bro. No more fun was had. Same here, bro. I was having fun in Cross Tekken. And then I played Theory. Man kept grabbing me. I was like, how do I get out of this? And he's like, you can't. And I was like, okay, so we're not having fun anymore. Cool, sick. All right, let's go. Like, it happens.
That's it. I think, do you know what? C4 brings up an amazing point. If you, to put it in layman terms, if you want to get good at a game, the fun factor, what you thought the fun factor was, the casual fun factor part, it disappears. So you have to find fun elsewhere, whether it's ruining somebody else's day, playing the most annoying character in the game, playing the best character in the game, or just building a bad reputation online. Pick your poison, because the fun you wanted to have
it's gone.
It's gone. That's it. That's
and you can't get it back. You can't. And I feel like that when I'm doing content, I can't process how someone beginning can understand it. Like the numpad notation thing, for example. I can't explain why it's complicated, because now I know it. Now I understand num notation. I can't conceive of how it's hard to understand. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I get that. I remember, I think this was back in like 2010. I went to like a BlazBlue event. This was like a very local one, because BlazBlue was the actual first fighting game I properly got my hands on before SO4. I remember some people were talking about, 3Ps and 6. I was like, what? Is that the password to your phone? What? and it's like again, but again, it's a unique terminologies, different vernacular, and then it's like once you learn the language, you're not gonna not unhear it. It's you know you walk down the road and someone goes 3K. It's like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Leah's what?
Yeah. You can't.
They might be talking about it. They might be talking about something else. You hear 3K, 6HS, and it's like, huh? What? Now you just know. So.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to unknow something. So when someone has like a way of teaching, I think it's important that they keep doing that, because one, it's obviously something they like doing, and two, hopefully they're good at doing it. I guess you could have a way of doing it and not be good at it, but there's always going to be someone who can learn the way you teach. I think some people think. I remember. I used to be like, oh, the way I teach, I have to find students. And I was like, you know what? I'll put this out there. If someone can find it useful, sick. If not, it's just my archives then. Calm. And that's how I have to look at it. Otherwise...
I respect it. It's mine and it's mine alone.
Yeah, it's just mine. It's my archives, my virtual archives. I'll have that, because otherwise I'm going to try and explain it in the way that I'm not comfortable with and I'm not good at. And then the person that I'm trying to explain it to is going to be like, Jammerz is better at doing it than you, so I'll just go learn it from Jammerz. Then the content is pointless.
The thing I have with that, because we're going on a bit of tangent here. The thing I have with that is when you teach, you can only teach from your perspective. If they like the Jammerz way, anyone else that does it, they might not. They'll probably appreciate the effort they put in, but they won't appreciate it because it wasn't me that done it. It wasn't me that done it. Right? Someone will find your way of teaching or your flow better than what they do for me. It's like, yo, Jammerz, yours is too, like, no, you look like you just met an alien. You wanted to break down English and the 101s how it works. Now I'll just go to C4. He just gets the point done. And if I don't understand it, we move on with life. And that's it. Everybody is different. And I don't think you get mad at anyone for doing it, because, like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just personal preference at the end of the day. That's what we got to roll with. I got my way of doing things. C4's got his way of doing things. We move. You know what I mean?
We move on to the next topic, which is going to be what things can people do to get better at commentary. I'm sure this is why most people have clicked on this video. So yeah, we'll get that started. Right. We're back. I say that. We've literally gone off the screen for like 2 nanoseconds because of how I edited it. But anyway, what things can people do to be better at commentary? I thought this was a pretty important question to ask, as Jammerz is here. I also do a tiny bit of commentary under the alias Tyrant, apparently, but I've done
everywhere. You've been around the globe. This guy has been in Asia. He's been to Japan.
Yeah,
and he's been to the States. Like, this guy's more Hollywood than me.
Yeah,
and he's
man.
asking.
I've won plenty of Street Fighter 4 tournaments with Bison. That's me. Yeah.
I've been forever humbled that this guy has asked me to answer questions that he could have answered for you, the people at home. He's asked me. But no,
all I'm going to say is that HD definitely stands for Hollywood dude, by the way. It's not about high definition. It definitely stands for Hollywood dude. Don't let him gaslight you in real time. Like, it's not...
Apparently, there's a guy called 4K Jammerz roaming the streets. I'm gonna have to find that guy.
Yeah, no, get your double ganger, bro. Don't let him run wild like I am on Tyrant. Don't let the double ganger run wild.
Find you.
But yeah, we're gonna ask Jammerz mostly. I think I've got one thing we spoke off camera about that I wanted to bring up, but Jammerz is the pro, so we'll let Jammerz go. You can leave comments, but it's not gonna make a difference. So I was about to say, leave comments if you want to ask Jammerz what you could do to get better. But he might not reply. He might do, he might not. You know what? Take your chances. Leave the comment down there anyway. But yeah, Jammerz, what do you think people can do to get as good as you on the mic?
First of all, I would like to say build a foundation for your style. Now, one thing that's very, very difficult with the FGC in regards to commentating fighting games is developing your own style, because usually we have 2 categories, as you might know already, C4. Some of you might not know. It's basically we have the hype man and we have the analytical dude. Those are the 2 go-to categories, and within those categories, people pick and choose what they want to do and find their niche, right? I personally, let me get this off my chest first. I'm sick and tired of people within those categories. They will look at your iconic guys, your Sajams, your Ryan Hunters, you know, your Tasty Steve, your Yipes, and they go, right, whatever's successful for them, I will just copy them and it'll work. It's like, no, there's thousands of different variables that you haven't even considered. They've been doing this for like, 6, 7, 8+ years now. And it's like, they found something that works for them. Okay, there's a blueprint. They've laid down the blueprint for you, but it doesn't mean you just go snatch it and try to imitate 110% and think it's going to work for you. It's not going to work, because during those times that they were working and commentating big events and whatnot, they're developing their style, right? So you need to definitely find, if you want to be analytical, go for it. Because again, I don't think there's enough people spitting the facts in the commentary. And it's like, okay, now your USP might need to be how you deliver it, or bringing your certain type of energy in that deliverance for the analytical perspective. If you want to be a hype man, just don't scream and shout. Like, don't scream and shout, right? Because if I wanted to do that, I'd probably go and watch the wrestling. I'm not a huge fan of the wrestling, but I've come here to find out why, Ryu is beating Sagat in this matchup. I don't need to go, oh, tiger uppercut. Ah! It's like, what was that? You probably woke me up from my nap. You put me to sleep, then you woke me up. And that's it. But find your style. And one piece of advice, I remember I said this to one of the guys in the Dragon Ball community. I said, what do you want to see in commentary? And the answer he gave me, I can't exactly remember it word for word, but what came out of his mouth, I said, that is your foundation. So when you go, so my foundation was, okay, when I watch a tournament, obviously I have a very skewed perspective when watching events now. I want the commentators to tell me something I didn't know about a matchup, a play or something, so I can take that information, and then when I'm on the next block or the next event, I'll go, yo, this guy taught me this last event, let me relay the information this event to then pass on to the next guy for the next event, right? I want you to teach something they didn't know. That's my foundation, and that's what I've rocked with for years. I'll be like, tell me something I don't know, because when I jump on the mic, I'll be like, yo, did you know this about Dalsin? Did you know this about Poison? Did you know this about this matchup? Then when you see it, like I said, you will no longer unsee it. So build a foundation for your style. And if somebody asks you, what is it you want to see in commentary when you're watching fighting games, whatever your answer is, that is your foundation. So that's my first point. I'd say the second point, I'd say it's a very generic one, but it's a very difficult generic point, because fighting games are forever changing at the drop of a hat. I mean, at the shot of a bullet. It's relevancy. It's what is relevant, and it's spitting the necessary relevant information about the players, the characters, the matchups. Try not to go on too many tangents. We go on tangents anyway because we're having a conversation. But what's relevant is super important. So if we were to use maybe Skullgirls or Street Fighter as an example, I'll probably take Skullgirls as an example. It's okay. Me and C4. C4 plays Beowulf and Rebel Fortune. I play Eliza and Parasol. Right. Okay. So what's relevant? The assists that are going to be used in the matchup. What is C4's philosophy on fighting Eliza and Parasol? Has he got a snap strategy? Like, what are his strategies going into the matchup? How's Jammerz going to counter that? Have they countered it? Do these guys have the conversations about it? What's their past results in tournaments? What's the rivalry between these two? There's so many different things. It's a very vague and broad thing, but you need to find and pinpoint what would be relevant for that time. And then in that time, or in that set that they're playing, there's going to be a little bit of impromptu, because C4 might do something or bring a piece of tech I've never seen before. Then you have to improvise how to explain that, and then go, right, how's Jammerz going to counter that? Right? It's always trying to keep relevant. It's very difficult, because again, I think the saying was from Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan to get punched in the mouth. So it's something like that.
Yeah.
And it happens with strategies in fighting games. It happens with commentaries. Like, right, I'm going to talk about this regarding these two players, and then someone just jumps off the rails and does something different. It's like, okay, right, we have to go from here. If you're going to talk about, I did have this problem early on, but it's like, if you're going to talk about, Eliza is fighting Beowulf and Robo solo, and then you're going to be talking about Big Bang for 5 minutes. It's like, Big Bang's not on the screen. And it's like, okay, so what's that got to do with, this 60% combo that's happening? I remember even new people suffer from this because they don't know what to say, and they don't know how to keep up with the action.
100%.
Because fighting games are fast. So when I'm explaining a strategy that C4 might incorporate on me, Parasol's dead. And it's like, but Parasol just died. And it's like, okay, I didn't finish explaining my point. You can't dwell on it. You got to move on. Next point. Okay. Then that's in your mind. You got to go, all right, cool. So Steven's going to snap in Parasol, going to do this snap mix up with the Hull Toss, and then calling Robo Fortune Theonite Beam, and then do a block stun, do whatever. And in that time, I'd be like, yeah, he's done this multiple times, but you've killed me a different way. And it's like, okay, now I've got to switch my brain thought process and go, well, Parasol's dead. So what I said now is irrelevant. It might happen later, but it's irrelevant now. So finding, pinpointing the necessary relevant information is something that we're all forever learning, because relevant information changes. As the meta changes of the game, relevant information changes. As players change their character rosters or even retire or whatever, information changes. But relevancy is a very powerful word in our industry and in the entertainment industry as well. So I'm going to shove it down your throats now. Relevant. What is relevant and what is irrelevant? It's all great to discuss theories and stuff, but there's never been a segment or time to discuss other theories and potential things that happens outside of the match. And it's already difficult enough as it is to keep up with things that happen in the match because, you know, good luck. I have mad props to anyone that commentated Marvel. I don't know how you commentate that. because you can't do a damn thing. You say, yeah, Virgil's great. Dark Phoenix is fantabulous. I make up a word on the spot. And then Phoenix Wright is a waste man. But
snitch, man. He's a snitch.
That's it. But that's it. So yeah, so the first point was obviously building the foundation, your unique style. Second point was all about relevancy. My third point, another generic one, but I'm going to tack on something else as well. This will help develop a style. I feel it does. Is play your damn game, right? Play. Where's the camera? Play your damn game. Okay. Now, I play the games I commentate. I try to play them as much as I can. Okay, I don't have as much time to grind as a full-time player. But the reason I'm saying play your game is to better talk about the game, the matchup, the characters. Again, it links back to what's relevant, right? It links back to what's relevant, right? Talk about everything about the matchup, characters, players. Play your game, because that way, when, let's say I wanted to talk about Daigo's Guile a bit more in Street Fighter 5. I will watch a couple of his replays, but then I'll also try Guile myself. I'm like, what is this guy feeling in this situation? I'll be like, you know what? I'm not Daigo, but in this situation, I feel he might do this because this is the options that happen and it feels a bit weird. And then that situation might pan out. And when the situation that you're talking about, right after you finish explaining that it happens, it looks like I know what I'm talking about. That's it. I do it all the time, because when I say someone's going to do a reversal in a weird situation, it's like, damn, it looks like I know what I'm talking about. Obviously, let's see, you got to blow your trumpet a little bit, you got to toot your own horn a little bit, right?
Every time.
Play your game, because there's this ongoing thing that European commentators, or UK commentators specifically, are better than the rest of the world. And it's like, because we play our games. American commentators, they're great. They got the energy, they got knowledge, but they're not as good at the games. But they don't have to be, because they're commentating the game. But it's in terms of your level of understanding, your knowledge, so on and so forth. Because I enter some online tournaments like, yo, Jammerz is not only good on the mic skill and the sticks. It's like, because I play my game. What were you doing? Well, and then by playing the game, you understand the psychological aspect to a deeper level. Because look, me and you, I could teach you the basics and the advanced stuff regarding characters and matchups in the game, but you'll never understand the whys and the hows until you play the game and put yourself in the scenarios yourself. And that helps, going back to what's been improving about the content in FGC. People be able to explain the psychological aspect of these games and why they're so appealing to people because of that stuff. So I just want more people, if you want to get into commentary, you will have to find the time to improve in your commentary. As of course, it is harder in these times, because commentating from home, I don't like doing it. I'm not a fan of doing it. You bring your mannerisms from home on the mic. I'm in my room right now. C4's in his living room right now. You're commentating a proper event, and you're doing this on your chair, and it's like,
yeah, good point. Good point.
I can't blame people, because some people have stepped up tremendously through these times because they've had no other option. But because I've gone to actual events and done this stuff, my mannerisms from home aren't there, because I already know it's like, yo, you're doing an event, fix up. You know what I mean? But some people picking this up, it's like, it's a bit rough. And then again, if you have a bad mentality towards the game when you're playing it, you're going to bring that bad mentality and your mannerisms to the commentary. It's going to sound like you're negative Nancy, you don't like this stuff, so on and so forth, because it can be a bit contagious. So that was the third point. But to tack on to that as well, if you want a guideline or something to help out, watch a sport. Watch an actual sport. I am a huge football fan, or soccer in the US. I'm a huge football fan. I watch Match of the Day, like pretty much every time that it's on, and I try to pick up on things that the actual commentators in their matches do and what they do at Match of the Day, the analysis side as well. And then I try to talk about what they talk about in football and about the players. I'm like, how can I bring that kind of style and that essence and bring it into the FGC? That's helped kind of develop and formulate a new style for me. And if, again, maybe the Americans, this is probably why the Americans are way more energetic than we are, because look at what they watch. UFC, wrestling, you know, boxing. Obviously, we do it around the world as well.
Yeah.
But I'm more of a football head, so you can be energetic, but it's more analytical. It's like, right, why was that pass so great? Why is this player so great? Give me the stats on how many assists he's had of the season. Is this guy a contender for goal of the season? It's just stats. So you know what I mean? So there is that as well. I do think watching a sport does help. Watch your favorite sport. You might be able to pick up on things, presentation skills, articulation, the flow, energy. There's so many different things you could pick up and then try to bring it into your fighting game commentary. Because again, if you ask any commentator of a traditional sport, and you tell them what you do, and they saw you do it, they'll be like, I don't even know where to begin regarding it. I've been commentating for X amount of years, but if you sat me down to talk about a fighting game and commentate it, I'd have no clue. People forget this is actually a very unique thing to do. Commentate not a video game, a fighting game. Like there is difficulty in commentating other games like shooters, MOBAs, and whatever. But when you look at a fighting game, it goes over people's heads. And it's just like, I have no clue how he even knows what's going on the screen. I know that guy got banged up by that guy. And like, he didn't want to shake his hand when they want to standardize that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
So GG's, thanks for the games, please.
Another one, I know because I keep going on, but they tack on. And this is another personal thing as well. Read a book. I know that's gonna sound really weird.
Damn.
Read a book or improve on reading, because you want to get better at the deliverance and the articulation, and you want to expand your vocabulary as well. One of the things I picked up from football, I'm in awe about this all the time, and I can never do it. You can do this after C4. I promise you, you'll rarely. Once you notice it, you'll think that how.
Damn, wait. Are you gonna expand my mind? Hold on one second. Let me get comfy. Let me lean back a little bit. Let's go.
No, it's annoying, right? I swear, I always try this, and I can never do it. How often do you hear professional commentators repeat the same word twice?
Oh yeah, I know that. You know what? I actually got that from books as well. But I remember when I was in English, they were like, you don't want to use the same word twice because then the reader will zone out.
Right, now here's the thing, right? So reading to improve your vocabulary and expand on certain things. Because people are like, oh, Jammerz uses too many big words, articulate, and it's like, it's not so much to sound like I'm sophisticated or whatever. It's because I'm taking huge influence from actual commentators that do not repeat. And I'm like, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's it. It's hard to remember all these words anyway. And sometimes you'll zone out and repeat. But I'll give you the sickest example, right? In fighting games, when you hear the word random, it's never for a positive light. Never. When you say random, it's like, that was a derogative sense. Use it in a derogative sense. Use it in a derogative sense. But when you use words like, haphazard or arbitrary, it basically means, they basically mean the same thing, but it's like, it's not repeating. And it's like, because when people hear random, it's like, Jammerz call me random. I'm not happy about that. It's like, I'm not happy about that. And it's like, okay, use the other words. It's like, you could be more diplomatic about it, but it allows you to better explain yourself, and then you're improving not just at commentary, but like articulation and speech in general. You're giving yourself an English lesson live on commentary, like, for God's sake. And it's like, all you got to do is read a book or read an article or something that helps you explain or look at things better, because this also helps with your evaluation on your commentary as well. When you watch it back, if you keep hearing, nice TP, random, this guy did this, this guy's super strong. You can say, look, he's extremely strong, he's incredibly strong. He's like, he's brilliant at what he does. That's amazing. That's stupendous. That's fantastic. It's like, it just helps you realize that you're improving instead of just rinse and repeat. But all in all, I think what people respect nowadays about this stuff, outside of the read the book thing, is if you're coherent and passionate about what you do, they probably won't even care what comes out of your mouth, because
you can just make sounds.
Sometimes, if they can see your body language, you're up there, you're like, go King, and what's that new character in Tekken, Lydia or something? It's like, down forward 3 into the up stage bounce, and it's like, I don't know what this guy said, but he's coherent and he's in there, and it's like, I'm like, oh, this guy just said 6 words and people love him. And it's like, here I am giving you like a 10-page business plan, the 5-year future. And I'm like, I can't. But that's just me. But I want people to kind of just develop expand the vocabulary and develop a new style just to help themselves, not just to sound sophisticated or big word or minded, whatever. It's like, if you want to have an intellectual conversation, we could do that any other day of the week. I'll probably make you look bad, but it's a case of, oh, go on.
No, I was going to add on to what you're saying. So you finish first.
It's like, it's just little things that help you not improve in the game, but out the game. I try to think of this stuff. I try to think of a lot of things long term these days. I want people not just to improve in the game, but out the game as well. Because another thing, we'll talk about this for years. Go and watch old player interviews. How bad they were answering questions. How bad or how rinse and repeat they were at answering. And I'm like, this is terrible. Then when again, this sounds arrogant. When people interview me, it's like, damn, this guy looks like he's done it before. It's like, no, I just read a book.
Education, people. Education.
And I understand this flow, but then again, a lot of this stuff was new to the scene. If it was new and people weren't ready for it. But then people go, yeah, Jammerz, I know what arbitrary means because you keep repeating it. And it's like, oh yeah, now that you know that word, I'll say the next one. And then it's like, okay, now we're all, like I said, when you bring, what does commentary and content bring to the table? This is another form of content. I'm teaching you English live on the job. And it's like, I don't know what you said, but it looks like it worked. That's it. I've kind of dialed back on this stuff as of recent because people know what to expect from me now. Because again, there's this thing in the running thing in the FGC that I have a degree from Oxford University. I'm 34. I've got 2 kids. I've got a mortgage. All because I spouted a couple of big words here and there. And I was like, do I get a wife? They said you can't have a wife. And I was like, damn. I was like, that's cold. And I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, read a book. Make sure you play your game. Don't sit on the sidelines. Build a foundation for your style and relevancy. Like there's tons of things. I could keep C4 here all night talking about this stuff.
You could.
I could. But he said boil it down to 3 points. I give him 6. Because he's the homie.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's got to be done. I think I only wanted to kind of touch upon the last one, right? Because I relate it to me. So I'm going to try and give people an out, right? So what you said on the last bit. I'm going to try. It's a very small one. So I remember when Jammerz got quite a bit of slack for using words more than 7 letters. I didn't know why, bro. I didn't know why. 3 syllables, 7 letters. Yeah, that bars. But like, so I was like, okay, cool. I actually ain't a fan of reading. The only things I read are comics.
I read mangas.
Yeah, exactly. I need pictures. My brain is too smooth. I need pictures, right? So I was like, okay, cool. I can kind of do what Jammerz does with some words, condescending, whatever. I can just come up with words, whatever. But I also started doing things where it's like, okay, I don't want to just, copy someone, right? I don't want to just use big words for the sake of using bigger words. I did it because I didn't want to repeat words. But I thought there must be another way to do it, right? So with Jammerz's example with random and saying arbitrary, yeah, to me, that's the same thing, but it's cool that he's using a different word. I already knew what it was, it's not a weird flex. I just knew what arbitrary was, right? But I was like, okay, cool. What about if I use something from my bit? So Cockney Rhyme Slam. So I never say dead anymore to a character. I always say brown bread. I always do that now. I know I repeat that word, but I know no one else says it. No one else.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And I remember when I first got into commentary, I used to hate it because I'd listen to it back and I always said, and I hate it. And I do it a lot. I do it on this podcast because I know it's not professional. It's just me in my yard, right? I'm just in Yaris talking.
Mannerisms from home.
Yeah, exactly. And when I'm doing commentary on someone else's channel or an event, I'm very conscious about saying in between words. It's like a really annoying full stop that you don't need to pronounce. And repeating words is another one, but I don't mind repeating phrases. So I will come up with, I think a couple of weeks ago, I was doing Dragon Ball Z and I was like, yo, to my, well, it's Damascus. It's not a secret. I was like, Damascus, this guy doesn't, he only stays in 5-star hotels. And it was like, what? Because he hasn't got any B&Bs. I'll do stuff like that to try and keep it interested. You know what I mean? Or I was like, this guy's got a king size bed. People need to stop sleeping on him. Like, I just do stuff like that to not have the same word repeated. I'll use the same joke. I'll definitely do that. But so when you were saying about watch other commentators and being like, kind of get inspired or read a book, what I do is I take information for fighting game streams. So like you said, with data, so I can pass on the data. But puns and jokes and bars, I get that from other streams. So when I'm watching like Pokemon streams, I will try and use those bars. I'm like, no one's gonna know, bruv. I can claim it, bruv. I get the royalties. It's my joke. I can do all that sort of stuff.
No plagiarism. You didn't.
No plagiarism. Yeah, and battle rap. I used to do it quite a bit with battle rap, but I stopped. I stopped that. I swear that. I promise. I swear that I stopped. But I would hear a bar in battle rap and go, I wonder if there's a way to spin this into a fighting game bar.
Right. Now that thinking is what we need. That's the thing we need. It's like, right, any influence you take from outside, how do you bring it to FGC without it being conspicuous? You just make it so it's like, yo, it looks like this guy like literally just grew an inspiration tree in his backyard and he just picks off the leaves, eats it every time.
He's me sound like a genius, and I literally just took it out of a thesaurus, bro.
That's it. It's like I want everyone to step up the game. Obviously, a lot of stuff I did was misunderstood, but I can understand a lot of perspectives regarding that as well. I did set a standard with this scene.
Too high.
Now because again, I came in with a couple of standards and like none of them were real. So I said, okay, I'll set one. Again, look at C4ort knows this. Look at the one with the move names, right? Standard with the move names in every. And people were like, how do you even remember that stuff? And I was like, because someone came in my chat the other day, right? And they were like, Jammerz, how do you know the names of all the moves? That's really impressive. I said, no, it isn't. The FGC finds that impressive because no one does it. What's impressive is you all actually do it. You know all the matchups, all the situations. You know the frame data when it's start up, active, recovery, and you know the meaty frame data, and then you know how to kill someone at a particular point, psychological, and then you're saying that I'm amazing for remembering what Shoryuken actually is. I said, you guys are weird. Like,
and you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I said that what people are amazed by, because I could do a sequence. I have this sick technique with what I do, with how I do commentate combos and whatever. Now, people never appreciate it until they sat in this seat and do it themselves. And always remember this: if you're commentating, don't obviously take constructive criticism, but there's constructive criticism and there's downright denigration. There's people that will just cuss you out for no reason, right? And it's like, yeah, people are like, why does Jammerz do X, Y, and Z, or why does C4ort do this? And then when they do it themselves, they're like, oh
yeah.
I remember one guy said Jammerz is annoyingly diligent at his job, and I couldn't stop laughing. I said, why? And he said, because I don't even think
that's a backhanded comment. That's just a compliment, right?
I think so. I don't know. And then he said, how he remembers the move names in quick succession is beyond me. And I was like, no, it isn't. I just go to the command list and I do the motion to the move and I remember it. If you want me to sound like an arrogant twit, here's how I'll put it to you. My cognitive skills are better than yours. That's it. That's literally it. That's all I'd say. Outside of that, I think anyone can learn it. And I thought it was a standard because, again, going back to sports, the commentators in wrestling know the name of the wrestlers. People in the football know the name of the footballers. People in the UFC, you know that stuff. So I thought, oh yeah, you should learn the move names. But from a player perspective, what's the point? You need to know the frame data, the situation where you don't need to know the move name. But then when you're doing content, and then when you're commentating and explaining, it's like, what's that move name? Funniest thing, I know I'm going to tangent again. Funniest thing I love is when games get new patches and updates. And the patch notes say the actual move names that I don't know what that is. I'm like, this is glorious. Because I'm just sitting here like, I'm sitting here like, I wonder what that move could be. And you look so weird not knowing.
Yeah.
And I took inspiration from Combo Fiend and Haunts, no longer in the Capcom offices. But they used to do it all the time at SF4 and Cross Tekken. And then when it stopped, I'm like, why is no one doing this? Then a random move would come out, like people were like, what? What's that move? Then they got to go to the command list and go, I don't know what that move's called. Like I had to do that with the update changes I did with Capcom a couple of weeks back. And then some people were like, how on earth is he just going through the list knowing that? It's like, because this is the standard I set myself. This is what I thought people were already doing, but they weren't. But now more people are starting to do it. So now that I set that standard, I'm going to start setting a new one. That's it. That's what you got to do.
No, it's sick. Yeah, because I remember when this was happening as well. Because so for the record, I didn't do it with Leo because I didn't want to butcher the German language. So I called it Flash Kick and Sonic Boom. That's straight up and Wrecker.
No, I respect that. I respect that.
If I saw the word, I know what the move was, but I would never say the name because I didn't want to butcher language. But I remember specifically in Cross Tekken, I think this came up in Cross Tekken, but it was like Street Fighter 4 commentary that he was doing. And I was like, I know some moves. I don't know. The ones I do know are like really arbitrary. So I stole Jammerz' word. But I remember Chun's spread eagle. I don't know why. Probably because I got hit by it so much because of theory, right?
no, but that's the thing. Yeah. I tell you what, right? People only remember move names if it's iconic or you've been hit by it a million times. That's it. They don't remember it anyway. I
don't know why I knew that name because I'm sure it wasn't in the command list because it's a normal in the air. It's literally, it's neutral jump heavy kick. That's what it is. So I thought, would that not just be jump heavy kick in the command list, right? Normally you don't have, unless you're Skullgirls, you don't have, you don't have name for normals.
I know. Yeah, that's what you're wrong. Because Capcom did release in the past couple of months, they actually released the move names, the Gil's normals and Seth's normals. And then people are like, what? And I was like, none of you McFlurries have played Skullgirls. That's right, I covered the word. I said, none of you McFlurries have played Skullgirls. You don't know what it's like to find out that your actual normal, your stand jab has a name. It's
every
called
move, bro.
It's called Jabbing the 1800. It's like, huh? It's
every move.
I'm with for calling out specials, and it's like, nah, you lot ain't seen none of it.
Yeah, they don't know true pain unless you play Skullgirls or you main Dizzy. You don't know true name pain because Dizzy's. Shout out to Theory, bro. I don't know.
I can't even remember what they were called now. They were like fully fledged sentences. Bro, they were like kid story sentences.
Yep, they were. They're like, some days I feel like I need to sing a song to my goldfish. Like, I swear down. I'm pretty sure that's one of them. I swear.
One of them was the ice pillars. Like, skip to my loo. Ice pillars. Like, what?
Yeah. And we just make up names. We just make up names for them because it's easier. But I feel if you are going to commentate, you kind of need to have a foundation. Like, the whole spread eagle for me was just like a troll. It was like, yeah, every time I see a move similar, like 18's jump M, when I'm commentating, I say spread eagle. And I'm like, cool, 2 people on the planet are probably going to know that reference. You know what? I'm cool with that. Because I'm going to say spread eagle and no one's going to question it. No one's going to question and say, that's not spread eagle. It's like, you only say that because you don't know what spread eagle is. So hold that. So, and it's a different word than saying, oh, he did IADM. Like, it's just something to either give information or wake someone up. Because if you hear spread eagle, you're like, what did he say? And it snaps you back into the match, right? So
here's the thing, because someone or a couple of people did mention this to me the other day. It's because one other thing I do is I got to learn to explain things about 3 or 4 different ways, because obviously to cater towards different audiences. So I'll say, right, Falk's gonna do DP. It's called Psycho Schneider, right? So FGC understand DP. Someone that's new to the game might understand Psycho Schneider. Then someone goes, Jammerz, I hear you say the move names, and I have no idea what you're talking about. But and then at the same time, when someone goes, he does this, or he says the other name for it, the colloquial name, they don't understand. I'm like, that day I realized, I said, there are just people out there, regardless of what you say on the mic, somebody's not going to understand. And you're not going to have time to explain that. You got to move on. A lot of people will admit that, a lot of people are going to forget that you're going to have to move on from a lot of things that you won't get to say. And even I tell this to someone I work with. Shouts to Veggie from the Street Fighter community, because Veggie is trying to improve as a commentator as well. And I'm giving him some advice.
I think I've seen him stream every now and again.
I do tell him. I said, look, there's going to be something you want to say today, and you're not going to say it. If you don't say it, remember it, because next event you might be able to say it. Whatever you didn't say today, you can say tomorrow, right? And then ever since then, he's definitely taken that, and he's understood that a lot more. It's like, listen, there's gonna be some times it's like, yeah, do you know what? I want to talk about Sagat today, or I want to talk about Beowulf today, and it's like, no Beowulf came on stream, and it's like, oh well, that's it. And it's like, okay, cool. Save that information and keep that same energy when Beowulf jumps on stream. Then people will know what's about. Like I said, there's tons of points that me and C4 can talk about, and I've got tons about this stuff, because there's no dedicated archive for this stuff. Everyone's opinion is different. My philosophy and whatnot keeps changing. I'm still improving myself. But when someone else wants to get involved in it and improve, you probably hate me at the end of the day if I wanted to teach you, but it will stick with you for a lifetime. That's what I hope it does anyway. But yeah, that's it from me in terms of tangents.
I mean,
what people can improve at.
I think there was solid points. Solid points.
No, hold on. Didn't you have something you wanted to highlight? Your pet peeve?
My pet peeve, all right, quickly. My pet peeve is backseat commentators. So, I mean, commentators that are commentating a match and go, oh, he didn't do the optimal combo, or she didn't do the optimal combo, or oh, that was stupid, he could have killed, or she could have killed, or that reset was whack, blah, blah, blah. I don't like it when a commentator does that and that commentator could not do better. So
they don't play the game, or don't play said character, or they don't understand the flow.
If
they're,
it's a really,
that is very specific.
I'm gonna get specific, but the bar is is arbitrary. It's my specific. I'm going to refine it. I'm going to think about this, and I'll tweet it out to you and at you when I've figured it out. My knee-jerk reaction is when the commentator isn't better than the player they're talking about. But that's a very skewed line, right?
That's skewed. That's very common though.
And I think it's just me. I don't think it's a reasonable line. I don't think that's a very reasonable line to go, well, if you're not better than the player, don't talk bad about the player.
But that's how people think, right? Because all right, if we use me for an example, right? Idom, shout outs to Idom, he's the best poison player in the world. But I'm a poison specialist. I haven't won Capcom Cup. So whatever I say should be null and void, right?
But that's why it's a dumb line. That's why it's a stupid bar.
If I say Idom did something wrong and I'm a specialist, right? I haven't won any tournaments, but I'm a specialist. Whose word do you take? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, right, Jammerz doesn't know what he talks about because he hasn't won any tournaments. He hasn't won Capcom Cup. He has won 8 tournaments on the bounce. But this guy, he knows what he's doing. But then there's some things that Idom can't explain that I can.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
I can understand where C4ort's coming from, where it's like, okay, look, you probably just got asked off the street to commentate this game for 2 hours, then we'll pay you on the fly, €100, $100, whatever, then you go away. But if you do lack that knowledge or that experience regarding that meta or situation, then I can understand that. I'm not gonna say cut them some slack because obviously I'd need to see that situation live, and it's like, yo, this guy definitely doesn't know. You can smell what's the saying? You can snuff out a rat. You can smell a rat or something. I can't remember. When you know someone doesn't know something, they know. People at home will know when you don't know. You know what I mean?
But do they? You give people too much credit, my dude. I don't give them that credit.
Maybe I've been around the wrong people for a long time.
Yeah, I don't rate these pigeons, bro. I'm telling you, I've seen people on commentary say the most outlandish thing, and the comments that I can hear the claps in the stream chat, bro. They get all the not even golf claps, good old NASCAR racing, loud ass claps, and I'm like, this guy doesn't know a thing. I see it with content creators all the time. I triggered him. You actually triggered me. I'm so tired, bro. Why did you? I'm gonna be real quick. So yeah, I need to refine the bar. Because like you said, it's not a very good bar to go, well, that means you can never say anything about Sonic Fox or Daigo because you'll never beat them. So it's just dumb bar. I need to refine it because I think where it is it's not the fact that you're being a backseat commentator. It's the fact that you can always put that point in a better way. You can say, instead of that,
explain something differently.
Yeah, you don't have to say, oh, that combo was an optimum. It's like, oh, that's an interesting route he took. You've got the same message across, and you've done it in a non-derogatory way, the same way you say arbitrary instead of random.
Right.
That's where it is, yeah.
Again, you could be more diplomatic. People need, but this goes back to what we talk about this off camera. Deliverance. If there's 2 things that constantly will improve, probably without even you knowing, is your knowledge and your deliverance. There will, like you said, like C4 said, there's always a different way of explaining something, no matter how. The problem is you want it to be concise. You want your explanation to go from super large to extremely small. But then sometimes you get to extremely small point, and someone's not going to understand that, and you've got to expand, and then you've got to be back to basics 101 again, and then it's like, yeah, but forever you'll keep explaining it differently. And then some people will go, when you're trying to make the effort, this happens to me all the time. When you're trying to make the effort to explain something differently in a more diplomatic or nicer way, a more digestible way, someone will go, Jammerz, why don't you just say it's random? Why have you got to be that guy who goes out of his way? And it's like, okay, cool. It's like, but that's not for you. That's for my self-improvement. That's not, it's my self-improvement. And that's for probably for someone else who didn't understand. You might understand it. Cool. hit the mute button.
I was just about to say, hit mute and talk to yourself about the match.
Hit the mute button, but it's like you can't win with this stuff.
Yeah.
And, it will always be difficult. It's fun, but it will always be difficult because, again, if you suck at explaining things, it's going to be very difficult for you to find your rhythm in terms of explaining something. You might need to bounce off of someone to help get your point across. Because me and C4, in some aspects, we have a similar way of thinking. If C4 can't explain something, I will start him off, and then bam, engine's gone. Then he knows exactly what he's talking about, and then vice versa as well. Some people need that. Other people, sometimes I can probably talk to a wall or talk to a snowman, and the snowman will probably understand what I'm saying, and he's not even alive.
I've done that. There's been a few times where I've commentated, and I'm like, man, I wish I was on my own. Because I feel like I could have done a better job, because I'm not always good with the chemistry with certain people. Like, it will take me time to find out their cues, like when they finish, even simple things like when they finish a sentence, what their what's the word I'm looking for? What their perception is of a situation. Because it's happened to me and you. Like, you see something and you go, "That's cheap," and I'm like, it's not that deep. Or it's like, why did you do that? I'm like, he had no choice. He had to do that. Like, it happens a lot with us, but I know when you see it, I don't. I can pick that up, where if it's someone new, you're like, maybe this guy's just an idiot. Maybe this girl is a genius. You don't know until you start commentating with him.
I think, it's like, it helps you be a more versatile commentator. Try to categorize certain people to make your job and their job easier. This is something I've had to learn over the years as well. It is difficult. It does require a lot of patience, because again, this goes back to another thing that's important, which is chemistry. If it don't click, it don't click. Like, you probably, that's gonna be your one time and go, do you know what? I probably don't think it's gonna work out for us. We should try to force this or whatever, and we move on. Other times, me and Steve will go, hey, yeah, what's up? Do you know what? I don't like Leia Whitefang. He's like, well, funny enough, I don't like Jacko either. And it's like, oh, cool. There you go. Now it's going to flow, because when we see our matchup or see other people that play a similar matchup to us, we're going to start cussing. And that's it.
Yeah.
And it's to go, it might flow from there. And some people, like I said, when you're coherent, if two people, this is why, F-Word alone get a lot of praise. Yipes, Tasty Steve, Sajam, Tasty Steve. Commentary pairs get a lot of praise because it doesn't matter what's coming out of their mouth. They see two guys cackling over a fighting game, and it's like, yo, did you see that? This player is sick in the number one because X, Y, and Z. And it's like, I don't even know what he did. I don't even know that was an option select. I don't even know, like, that was some meaning. It was like, these two are having fun. I'm having fun with them. Give me popcorn. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of aspects we can do in terms of improving commentary, having it's not a little chat, having a seminar.
Welcome to my TED Talks.
Listen, do you know people want me to do TED Talks? I'm like, listen, I'd be richer than Bill Gates if I put a lock and key on my content. If I put a lock and key on my content, I'd be rich. Because if you wanted to wake me up and do it, you have to be paying the big bucks.
Lucky for you guys, you don't have to subscribe to Jammerz's OnlyFans. You've got a 40-minute dissertation on the point of view.
This guy's a liar. I don't have an OnlyFans account. That's not for me.
Not yet.
I know some of you people want an OnlyFans account, and all you're gonna get is my pinky finger on there. And you're gonna have to pay a 5-digit salary, like 5-digit number for that.
Don't think people won't do it. Don't tempt them, man. Don't tempt them.
I've been tempting fate a lot recently.
Okay, so we've got one more point to go over. What do you like most about content and commentary? We'll get that on the go. So yeah, now we're going to get the 2 points that we've been having this whole podcast about commentary and content. We're going to find out what Jammerz likes about him. And I'm going to put him on the spot because he might not even like him. But I'm assuming he does. We'll find out now.
I'll probably start with commentary because that might be the longer one.
Cool.
Commentary, what I like about it is everyone's perspective on the game we're commentating at hand. It's the same thing with when people complain about characters. They say this character's too strong and this character's too weak, and then the answer you get is, well, we all have access to the same character select screen, so what's your problem? Right? And then it's like, okay, we all have access to the same game, we'll commentate the same game, so my perspective is different to yours, is different to hers, and so on and so forth. It's like, you might have a more, feel, don't think perspective. I might have a more strategical perspective. This guy might just be hands-on. It's like, I don't care about all of the above. I just like hitting this button and it works. And it's like all the different perspectives are great about that. I also like the I guess I like the development side of things as well. How people naturally improve over time. Again, I look at events differently. It's like you're involved in production, or like, okay, when you watch a stream, there's probably different things you're looking at now that you didn't see before because you stream yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a deeper appreciation, you understand when technical issues happen, and so on and so forth. When somebody makes a mistake or they didn't articulate something quite right and people are calling them out for it, it's like, nah, I get that. He had a brain fart. I know what he wanted to say, just didn't come out right. This co-commentator probably had no clue what he's doing. He just left him hanging. And it's like, all right, cool, you can make a public clown of yourself.
Yeah.
But it's also a case of, I like that it's another platform to have a voice on. Obviously, again, you're expressing your passion and your energy and your knowledge about a game, but it's also cool. Here's what I think about the game. Here's what I think about the players I've seen in this community, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things about this community and commentary that has made obviously life more enjoyable. Obviously, the fun has been sapped out of certain things because of it. Like sometimes I sap the fun out of things for people because it's like, damn, can you not just enjoy a game? Why are you just spitting numbers and names? And it's like, I get paid to do this. After a while, you get super deep into your job. You forget what brought you here in the first place. I remember this woman with a whip or a saddle with pink rugged hair brought me into this scene. Now I'm talking about why I hate Dalsim and his anti-airs. That's it. It's just
you can't go back to being a casual, man. Once you practice, you can't go back. Cannot go back.
That's it. I think also commentating, obviously traveling around the world, meeting different people, different cultures, different communities, how they see the game as well. That's been great because I've been to Belgium, Denmark, or Sweden, sorry. I've been to Las Vegas, California. I've been different places. It's like, obviously, having people that are not involved in this sort of thing, esports or fighting games, whatever, when you have to explain to them what you're doing and they don't understand, but then you go, yeah, someone's flying me out to California for free. And they go, what? And it's like, yeah, and I'm getting paid for it. For what? What you did? See that game over there? The one I keep turning on and don't answer you about? It's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, they just want me to talk about it for a couple of hours. That's all. What, you get flown halfway across? Yeah, that's it. And they're like, what do I do? I say, you can't do it because you didn't care.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's basically it. But I'd also say about for the content side of things, it's an interesting one. What do I like about the content? I don't know. It's maybe I have a deeper appreciation for watching people do content for games I don't play. Maybe Under Night in Birth, a little bit of Guilty Gear, King of Fighters. I think I also have a deeper appreciation as well for people who start out doing guides, proper guides. And I think me, you, and Theory spoke about this before, the time span of when it's right to do a beginner's guide or 5 tips. Because I know C4's probably mentioned this to you guys before, not on here, but it's a case of if you do a guide to a character within 2 weeks and the game's just been out and you're the #1 rank online, your guide is probably full of shit. I'm probably just put it out there now.
What?
I think probably 6 months, maybe to a year, maybe a year and a half down the line, if you're still playing the character at the time, is a good length to really understand it, because obviously different situations, different mindset, different strategies to the character. But when people put out beginner guides and just tutorials about their character, the specialist kind of content, when that comes out, I'm like, yo, you know what? I know this guy plays this character and I want to hear him talk about the character. Don't really care if his anti-airs, combos, or whatever. I want to hear him talk about his character for an extended period of time, because now is his chance to do it, or now is her chance to do it. And I think that's why some people gravitate towards me, because I am considered a Mika encyclopedia with the spice of poison. But I do poison content somewhere else in Street Fighter, where they're like, yo, I come to you because you explain this very interestingly and very intricately, as well as the game at large and where it can apply to. So when I see other people doing that, I'm like, yeah, good. You know what? We need more people doing that. I also appreciate, I guess, when people are giving out probably specific advice for commentary, not so much generic ones. I know I gave some generic points, it could be contradictory. I know I gave out some generic points before, but I think Lord Knight did say this about Dragon Ball when someone asked for advice. When someone says, how do I get better at the game? And people keep saying, play more. As vague as that sounds, he's not lying. Like, people aren't lying. Like, obviously, you can't just say, how do I get better at commentary? Talk more. That doesn't work. But sometimes the most vaguest piece of advice is the best piece of advice.
Yeah, when you think about it.
When you think about it, when people say, how do I get better? Play the game more. Because we need you to experience these situations yourself. Experience is the best teacher. Failure is informative. Experience is the best teacher, right? So if you don't experience these things yourself, you're probably never going to understand it. I can teach you things, but it's going to be from my perspective. At the end of the day, if it don't click within your mind, you're probably never going to understand it. So when people give out that generic, the specific advice for certain things, especially it's like very rare situations that happen in commentary. Because I remember someone goes, I know it's a generic one, but they go, how do you fill in dead air? And it's like, okay, that just comes naturally. If you're a talkative dude, dead air is nothing. Dead air was like, it was already existing air in the first place. It wasn't even dead.
Yeah.
you just brought the defib unit there and just kept talking while it was trying to give it to life. You know what I mean? But there'll be things about like, oh, I don't know how to talk about this character in a particular way or this archetype. And then you really go into something that can help them, kind of give them a kickstart, a little boost on how to improve and expand their knowledge over time. So very specific points when people give advice. Other than that, don't imitate people. Please stop imitating people. Just please find your own style. Like, I get it. If you want to use someone's influence or blueprint, that's great. That's fine. I'm not saying don't do that. It's just, okay. I got on Steve's case for this. Shouts to Tasty Steve. I love him. He's never going to beat me at Street Fighter. He's not going to beat me at Skullgirls either. Right?
Does he play Skullgirls?
He was learning Skullgirls at a point. I don't know if he's still learning. And I spoke to him through Discord. He was learning Peacock. And I said, are you learning Skullgirls? He said, yeah, I am. I said, thank you for learning another game I can beat your ass at. Thank you very much. That was great. Really appreciate that. Always looking out for the homeboy.
I mean, Jammerz is pretty good at the game. I'm going to lie, bro. Like, in the background, in his podcast, that's me versus Jammerz. What's the score? I can't even make it out.
You're an idiot. Bro, I don't even know what that is. I just press buttons. I flowchart a lot. I haven't practiced this game in over.
Yeah, this is like 5 years old footage. Like, Jammerz is way better now. His character got buffed as well. So.
When someone says, can you play Skullgirls, that's basically saying, do you want to have an excuse to press buttons with Eliza and just do a level 3? And I'm like, fantastic!
When people say that, and I know Jammerz is on like Twitter and someone's doing like a power sword combo, all I can see is, that the meme with the anime character pushing up the glasses? I know that's you, bro. I know you're just going, I've got glasses as well, I should do it.
Like, well, oh my god, he's going to put them on. Oh my god, he's going to put them on. Please don't, he's going to put them on.
Jammerz, you play Skullgirls? That's exactly what he's doing. I know it. And I'm just rubbing my hands saying, yes, another victim. Another reason to make Jammerz jump on.
Before we get back to the point, all this guy, ever since he stopped playing, whenever someone told him they played Skullgirls, he'd always call me and he goes, yo, I've got someone.
I've got a victim.
There's someone else is learning.
Jammerz, someone's learning the game. You want a victim, yeah?
I swear to God, right? I remember this one time, this triggered me, and it was from the DBZ community. I remember we were in a group chat about Skullgirls, and one of the players, he said, I'm the best Eliza. And I was half asleep. I looked at my phone.
Yeah.
I said, I need to wake up. And I said, you need reality check. And then I told him, I said, don't you ever say that again. I said, don't you ever say that again.
I saw it. I WhatsApp guys and went, I'm going to wake up to an abusive message in the morning. I know Jammerz is going to see this. I don't even need to aim. I know he's going to see it. I know he's going to see it.
I was like, bro, you need to stop. You picked up the game yesterday, and it's like, yeah.
You need to stand down. You need to stand down.
But that was me going on the tangent. But yeah, I mean, like, all people have to do, honestly, is it's a craft that you need to improve. Content creation, respect to people that are still doing it and grinding it out, especially in these times as well, where it's booming. Commentary as well. It's harder in these times. Again, you're at home. You're doing a solo experience, right? I don't know your temperament. I can't hear your breathing patterns. I'm not next to you. Me and you could probably do an online thing because we know each other and we've done this past experience. Other people getting into this stuff, I think it's a little bit harder. It's not the optimal environment. It isn't. I'm going to have to break it to you. But you work with what you got and you can improve somehow. But there are a couple of, like, you know, 1 or 2 techniques you can use. You probably ask me later, or, you know, ask C4 for his advice. Well, because again, C4's been doing this for a little while as well. It's just, he's just not in the spotlight as much as he should be. Not as he wants to be, as much as he should be. And he's just giving me a mean face.
No, I'm too street level, man. It's just, that's my aesthetic. That's my aesthetic. I'm a street level commentator.
But
I'm alright with it.
It's, again, always talking about this stuff. It is fun. A few people have asked me to, like, you know, do a talk on this stuff, and I'm like, oh, I was like, here we go. Got to sit there for an hour and a half. I don't mind doing it sometimes, but it's like, again, when you talk about specific things regarding commentary, it just sets me off, and I'm like, oh god, here we go. All this, like, the thought I had 10 years ago, or not 10 years ago, 4 years ago. Now I just get off a test. It's like, what the hell?
Oh, man, yeah, the horror stories you used to tell me, bro. But
it's like, but obviously times are different now. I'm playing the game. I'm playing my current games a lot more. Like I said, I can't stress this enough. Please, please, please play your games. Play them with the top players if you can in your region. Play them with your friends. Do whatever, because if you play with them, you not only get to talk about them better, but you get to talk about their philosophy and the matchup better and whatnot, and then you level up with them. One thing I should have said before regarding commentary is you need to play the game as if you're going to compete in a tournament, because it's like, okay, cool, come with the strategy. How players would prepare for a tournament, you want to think like that as well. So it's like, okay, cool, here's probably a viable strategy, here's the current meta, so on and so forth, because that way you get in the mode of what they're thinking of, and it should be able to articulate things. At the end of the day, you want everything you say on the mic to be easier. And obviously one objective I hold myself to, which I've never met, is never repeat the same word twice. And as I'll never listen, trust me, it's good to have, but I haven't met it yet.
It's near on impossible. They're the best goals to have because you always strive to get it. You don't want a goal that you can get. They're trash goals. You always want a goal that you can't get, because that's the Vegeta mentality, bro. That's the Vegeta philosophy. Vegeta doesn't actually want to be the strongest. Trust me. He always wants to be second, so he can always strive to be the strongest. If Vegeta got to the strongest, he's not
no
Vegeta
longer
anymore.
hungry. He's no longer hungry.
Yep, full stomach's gonna get dad bod, and he's gonna be a waste man. That's it. He's just gonna be a waste man. He needs to be second place, bro. I'm telling you, getting silver, bro. I got silver versus fighting 3 years on the road until I got it, and then you know what happened when I got it? I turned into a commentator, bro.
Bro, I swear, this guy, the one guy, this guy did it on Twitter. That guy, one guy, he said, "Do you even know Leo Whitefang, bro?"
That was fun times.
Bro, he's a dad. And he's still slaughtering mans on the internet. I wake up and I see this on my timeline. I thought this guy was a dad and a commentator, but no, he's still slaughtering mans with CV.
I did have to bring out CV. The only reason I do this, for people that don't know, is because online I do like a lot of streaming on I'm on other people's streams a lot, so I've got to hold it down. I've got to stand down on the violence. But when I can go on Twitter and there's no restraints, fully Django Unchained. Just don't care.
Careful. Also, you need to, as a commentator or whatnot, you
don't
need to
do what I do.
Don't do what he does. Please don't do what he does.
100%. I legit. I'm not 100% sure. I'm 99% sure. I've lost commentary jobs because of how I act on Twitter. But I'm street level. I'm okay with it. But if you want to get known for this, do not do what I do. Don't attack every little comment that someone comes out with. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait, please. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't take the bait. Or get a burner account. Go get a burner account. Don't do it on your main. I've literally actually fumbled so many bags of money because of how I got on Twitter. Because I see the people follow me and I see like, oh, esports tournament organizer, and then I don't get a message, and I know it's because they've looked through my history. I know, but I'm okay with it. Street level.
I can't say anything about that. I'm his boy, but I tried to.
Yeah, no, Jammerz, you've always tried to guide me in the right direction. I know that, but I just can't. I can't do it. I have to delete Twitter to do it. I just can't. That is my kryptonite.
I mean, that is a viable option.
Yeah,
that is a viable.
Burner account incoming.
Comes through, we move.
Yep. But that is enough of us rambling. We'll have to do this again sometime on another topic. Probably about actually playing games.
Oh my god!
Since we've had we've gone through some eras. Literally, I think like every game that came out after Cross Tekken we played versus each other. I think every game.
Street Fighter, Rev 2,
Unist, Skullgirls, BB
not
Tag.
Uniclear. I haven't played Uniclear.
Oh yeah, not Uniclear. BB Tag we played.
Yeah. DBZ, yeah.
KOF.
I stopped. Yeah.
We both done KOF 14 for a hot minute.
Well,
MVCI?
We did. I actually got this guy in trouble at work because I complained about the stones. I kept him up all night because I complained about the stones. He'll always forget. I'll always remember because I know how skank those stones were, and I didn't like the way the MBCI was played. I like Captain Marvel. I didn't like the way MBCI was played.
But you know the way you know the reason you didn't like how it was played because people could do what you did to them with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I think partially.
Monster Hunter was not playing the game. She was not playing the game.
I know.
She was playing Monster Hunter. She was just literally swinging.
I didn't have any other character. I didn't want to play Gamora. She was stale. But
yeah. But yeah, Power Stone and Reality Stone literally took 11 hours of my life. Got consumed by Jammer's hatred of stones. And I was like, bruv, just pick space and put people in boxes and run away. Like, it's all good. It's just what I wanted to do.
But yeah, I think we've definitely gone toe-to-toe. Well, not toe-to-toe, but we played a lot of games.
Yeah, and then Street Fighter 5 was too much, bro. It just destroyed me, and I was like, I must stay away from you.
Strive's coming.
Yeah, Strive's coming.
50's coming. I am interested. I'm interested in Eno. I need another game to play. The problem is I'm too engrossed in 5.
Yeah.
So it's like if I dip because I'm looking at another game. I don't know. That's what I'm worried about. But we can talk about that another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about. We can have a conversation about juggling games and stuff because we used to play quite a few games at the same time, and then Street Fighter for you and Dragon Ball for me, it was just like, oh well, I guess no more hobbies, no more spare time, no more casual gaming, bro. No more casual gaming. Just sweat everywhere. Draw for the links. But yeah, thanks for checking this out. Obviously, in the link below, in the description below, will be links. Damn, it's so much easier when I'm commentating. I don't know why I can't think on podcasts. But yeah, shout out to Jammerz for jumping on, blessing me with his expensive time that he's not charging me for. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. But yeah, next time, I don't know. I've got some people that I'm talking to about doing another podcast. So yeah, I guess just sub, follow, give me clout. I need it. Yeah, that's standard stuff.
Some clout. Any change? Spare some clout.
Give me those Johnny coins, please. And obviously,
drop a penny, a pound.
You need to go follow Jammerz on Twitter and Twitch. Support the stream. Man streaming. He puts mad work into his streams. I'm not going to expose him, but it's not easy. So yeah, hit him with the subs, hit him with the follows and all that. But yeah, that's it. Peace.